Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a moment and think about the dreams you hold deep in your heart, the ones that excite you, inspire you, and sometimes even terrify you. Now ask yourself, how many times have those dreams been sidelined because of fear? Fear is a powerful emotion. It whispers doubts, magnifies risks, and convinces you that staying where you are is safer than stepping out into the unknown. But here's the truth: fear is a liar. It's a thief that steals your potential and robs you of the life you deserve. Fear is a natural part of life. It's an emotion designed to protect us, to keep us safe from danger, and to heighten our awareness when faced with the unknown. Yet, while fear has its place in ensuring our survival, it often oversteps its boundaries and begins to dictate our actions, or worse, our inactions. This is where the problem lies. When fear takes the wheel, it drives us away from opportunities, growth, and the realization of our full potential. We've all experienced that moment when fear whispered in our ears. Perhaps it told you that you weren't good enough, that failure was inevitable, or that the risk wasn't worth it. It's a voice that magnifies self-doubt, diminishes self-belief, and creates barriers that are often far bigger in our minds than they are in reality. Fear can paralyze you, keeping you rooted in the comfort zone, a place where there's no risk of failure, but also no room for growth. And while the comfort zone feels safe, it's also where dreams go to die. To understand fear's impact, think about the opportunities you've let slip away because of it. Maybe it was a promotion you didn't apply for, a relationship you didn't pursue, or a business idea you never acted on. What stopped you? Was it truly the lack of ability or resources, or was it the fear of rejection, failure, or the unknown? More often than not, it's the latter. Fear thrives on uncertainty, and it grows stronger the longer we allow it to linger unchecked. But here's an important truth: feeling fear is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're alive, that you care about the outcome, and that you're stepping into territory that matters. Even the most accomplished individuals feel fear. The difference is how they respond to it. Instead of letting fear dictate their actions, they acknowledge its presence and choose to act in spite of it. They don't ignore or suppress fear, but they refuse to let it become the deciding factor in their choices. The key is to shift your focus away from fear and toward your goals. When you dwell on fear, you give it power. You allow it to grow and overshadow your ambitions. But when you focus on your goals, you create a vision that is stronger than your fear. Goals give you direction and purpose. They remind you of what's at stake and why it's worth pushing through discomfort. By keeping your eyes on the prize, you begin to see fear for what it truly is: a temporary feeling, not an insurmountable barrier. Think about this: fear is often rooted in what ifs. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I'm not good enough? But what if you succeed? What if people admire your courage? What if you discover strengths you didn't know you had? The reality is, the worst case scenario that fear paints in your mind rarely comes to pass. And even if it does, you're far more resilient and capable than fear would have you believe. One of the most powerful ways to overcome fear is to take action. Action creates momentum, and momentum diminishes fear. When you take that first step, no matter how small, you begin to prove to yourself that you can do it. Confidence doesn't come before action, it comes as a result of it. Every step you take toward your goals, no matter how challenging, chips away at fear's hold over you. And with each victory, no matter how small, you grow stronger and more determined. It's also important to reframe your relationship with failure. Fear often stems from the idea that failure is something to be avoided at all costs. But failure is not the end, it's a stepping stone. It's a teacher that provides valuable lessons and insights. Every successful person has failed, often more times than they can count. What sets them apart is their willingness to keep going, to learn, and to try again. When you see failure as a part of the process, rather than a reflection of your worth, fear loses much of its power. Another effective strategy is to surround yourself with people who inspire and encourage you. Fear can feel isolating, but you don't have to face it alone. Seek out mentors, friends, or communities who have overcome similar challenges. Their stories and support can remind you that fear is universal and that it's possible to rise above it. Seeing others succeed despite their fears can give you the courage to do the same. Lastly, remember that fear often signals growth. If you're feeling afraid, it's likely because you're stepping outside of your comfort zone and into a space where real change happens. Embrace that feeling as a sign that you're on the right path. Growth and fear often go hand in hand, but so do growth and achievement. Fear will always be there, but it doesn't have to control you. It's a natural response, not a roadblock. When you acknowledge its presence but choose to act anyway, you take back the power that fear tries to steal. Focus on your goals. Because what you focus on grows. And when your focus is on your dreams and ambitions, fear becomes nothing more than background noise. Your goals are the foundation of your purpose, your why. They are the reason you wake up in the morning with a sense of direction, the driving force behind your efforts, and the anchor that keeps you steady in the face of life's challenges. When you focus on your goals, you are actively choosing to prioritize what truly matters to you over distractions, doubts, and fears. But in order to truly harness the power of your goals, you must first understand your why, the deeper meaning behind what you're working toward. Goals without a purpose are like a ship without a rudder. You might be moving, but you're not headed anywhere meaningful. That's why it's critical to take the time to identify the reasons behind your ambitions. Ask yourself, why do I want this? What will achieving this goal bring to my life? How will it impact me and those around me? The answers to these questions are your why, and they hold the power to ignite your determination and keep you focused even when the journey gets tough. Your why is personal. It's the emotional connection you have to your dreams. For some, it might be the desire to provide a better life for their family. For others, it might be a passion for making a difference in the world, pursuing a lifelong dream, or proving to themselves that they can overcome obstacles. Whatever your why is, it needs to be strong enough to pull you forward when challenges arise. Because challenges will come. Obstacles are a natural part of any worthwhile pursuit, and it's easy to lose motivation when the path gets difficult. But when your goals are tied to a compelling why, you'll find the strength to persevere. Imagine someone running a marathon. The physical and mental toll of running 26.2 miles is immense, and there are moments when every fiber of their being wants to stop. But the runners who cross the finish line are often the ones who have a powerful reason to keep going. Maybe they're running for a loved one, for a cause they believe in, or to prove to themselves that they can do it. Their why becomes a source of strength, pushing them past the pain and exhaustion. The same principle applies to your goals. Your why gives you clarity and focus. It helps you cut through the noise of distractions and stay committed to what truly matters. In a world full of endless options and constant demands on your attention, it's easy to get sidetracked. Social media, other people's opinions, and even your own doubts can pull you away from your goals if you're not careful. But when you're deeply connected to your why, you develop a laser-like focus that keeps you on track. You stop wasting time on things that don't align with your purpose and start channeling your energy into what will bring you closer to your dreams. Your why also serves as a powerful motivator. Motivation can be fleeting, it comes and goes, and it's not something you can rely on every day. There will be times when you don't feel like putting in the work, when the excitement of starting something new has faded and all that's left is the grind. This is where your why steps in. It reminds you of the bigger picture, the reason you started in the first place, and the rewards waiting on the other side of your effort. But connecting with your why isn't just about writing it down and hoping it sticks. It's about internalizing it, reminding yourself of it daily, and letting it guide your actions. Visualize the outcome you're working toward. Picture the life you'll have when you achieve your goals. Feel the pride, joy, and fulfillment that will come from knowing you stayed the course. These mental exercises keep your why at the forefront of your mind and make it easier to stay focused, even when distractions arise. It's also important to revisit your why regularly. Life is constantly changing, and so are you. What motivated you a year ago might not have the same impact today. Take time to reflect on your goals and their underlying purpose. Are they still aligned with your values and aspirations? If not, don't be afraid to adjust them. Your goals and your why should evolve with you, always reflecting the person you are and the life you want to create. Another way to strengthen your connection to your why is to share it with others. When you tell someone about your goals and the reasons behind them, you create a sense of accountability. They can remind you of your why when you're feeling discouraged and celebrate your progress along the way. Surrounding yourself with people who understand and support your purpose can make a world of difference in staying focused and motivated. Your why is more than just a reason to pursue your goals. It's the fuel that powers your journey. It's the inner fire that keeps you going when the road gets tough, the guiding light that helps you navigate life's challenges, and the anchor that keeps you grounded in your purpose. When you focus on your why, you give yourself the clarity, motivation, and resilience needed to overcome obstacles and achieve the life you've always dreamed of. It's not just about setting goals, it's about aligning them with something that truly matters to you. That's the key to staying focused, committed, and unstoppable. Fear often thrives on the unknown, feeding on uncertainties and amplifying the risks in our minds. It's a voice that asks questions like, what if it doesn't work? Or what if I fail? But have you ever stopped to consider the flip side of these questions? Instead of being paralyzed by what ifs rooted in fear, imagine the possibilities of what ifs grounded in optimism, hope, and belief in yourself. What if you succeed? What if you discover untapped potential within yourself? What if this risk you're afraid to take leads to an outcome greater than you ever imagined? These questions shift your focus from fear to possibility, from obstacles to opportunities. It's a simple mental shift, but it has the power to transform the way you approach your goals in your life. Fear asks you to stay where you are because it's comfortable. It convinces you to cling to the familiar, even if the familiar isn't where you want to be. It paints worst-case scenarios with vivid detail, creating an illusion that stepping outside of your comfort zone is dangerous. But more often than not, the worst-case scenarios that fear predicts never come to pass. And even if they do, they're rarely as catastrophic as your mind imagines them to be. The truth is, the what-if of staying in your comfort zone is far riskier than the what-if of pursuing your dreams. Staying stagnant means never knowing what you're capable of, never experiencing the growth that comes from stepping into the unknown, and never feeling the exhilaration of achieving something you once thought was impossible. That's the real risk, settling for less than you deserve because fear convinced you it was safer. When you begin to entertain the positive what-ifs, you open yourself up to possibilities. You allow yourself to dream without limitations, to imagine what life could look like if fear wasn't holding you back. This mindset shift doesn't eliminate fear. It's still there, lingering in the background, but it weakens fear's grip on you. It reminds you that there's more to gain than there is to lose, and that the rewards of pursuing your dreams far outweigh the risks. To embrace the positive what-ifs, you must first confront the negative ones. Fear loves to remain unchallenged. It thrives in the shadows of your mind. When you bring those fears into the light, you take away some of their power. Write them down. Ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? Is it failure? Judgment? Disappointment? Then challenge those fears. What evidence do you have that these fears will come true? What steps can you take to minimize the risks? And even if the worst does happen, how would you handle it? Often you'll find that the fears you've built up in your mind aren't as insurmountable as they seemed. Once you've addressed your fears, shift your attention to the possibilities. Visualize the outcome you desire in vivid detail. Imagine what it would feel like to achieve your goal. Picture the pride, joy, and fulfillment that would come with success. Let those emotions fuel you. The mind is a powerful tool, and what you focus on expands. When you focus on the positive possibilities, you're more likely to take action and move toward them. Taking action is a crucial step in this process. Fear feeds on inaction. The longer you wait, the bigger your fears grow, and the more daunting the task ahead seems. But when you take even the smallest step toward your goal, you disrupt fear's narrative. You prove to yourself that progress is possible, and with each step, your confidence grows. It's a cycle. Action builds confidence, and confidence diminishes fear. Another way to embrace positive what-ifs is to reframe failure. Fear often stems from a misunderstanding of failure, seeing it as an endpoint rather than a stepping stone. But failure is a natural part of growth and success. Each misstep teaches you something valuable, providing lessons that bring you closer to your goal. When you stop fearing failure and start seeing it as a necessary part of the process, the risks don't feel as daunting. It's also important to surround yourself with positivity. The people you spend time with have a significant impact on your mindset. Seek out those who believe in you, who encourage you to take risks, and who remind you of your potential when fear tries to take over. Their support and perspective can help you see beyond the doubts and into the realm of possibilities. Remember, the what-ifs of fear and the what-ifs of possibility are both just stories you tell yourself about the future. Neither is guaranteed. But the story you choose to focus on determines your actions and ultimately your outcomes. Choose to believe in the positive what-ifs. Choose to focus on what you can gain, not what you might lose. Because on the other side of fear lies everything you've ever dreamed of, and it's worth every step you take to get there. Fear is often magnified in our minds, growing larger and more paralyzing the longer we allow it to linger unchecked. It thrives on hesitation and inaction, whispering doubts that stop us from moving forward. The antidote to this paralysis is action. Any action, no matter how small. Taking that first step, however difficult it may seem, is the most powerful way to diminish fear's grip and move closer to your goals. When you're faced with fear, your instinct might be to wait until you feel ready. You might tell yourself that you'll act once you're more confident, more skilled, or when the timing feels perfect. But the truth is, readiness is a myth. Confidence doesn't precede action, it follows it. You don't become confident by waiting, you become confident by doing. Each step you take, no matter how small, builds momentum and proves to yourself that you are capable. Think of fear as a shadow. The closer you move toward it, the smaller it becomes. But if you stand still, that shadow looms larger, casting doubt over everything you want to achieve. Action is what brings clarity. When you take even the smallest step forward, you gain a clearer understanding of the path ahead. The unknown becomes known, and the overwhelming possibilities that once felt paralyzing begin to narrow into manageable tasks. Consider this: fear is often fueled by overthinking. When you spend too much time analyzing every possible outcome, your mind creates scenarios that may never happen. This is called analysis paralysis, and it's one of fear's favorite tools. But action disrupts overthinking. It forces you to focus on what's in front of you rather than the what-ifs that exist only in your imagination. By taking action, you shift your energy from worrying about the future to engaging with the present moment. One of the most effective ways to start taking action is to break your goal into smaller, manageable steps. When you look at the big picture, the enormity of the task can feel overwhelming. Fear feeds on that sense of overwhelm, convincing you that the goal is too big or too difficult. But when you break it down into smaller tasks, each step feels achievable. Completing one small task gives you a sense of accomplishment, which motivates you to tackle the next. This creates a positive cycle of progress that builds momentum and weakens fear. Let's say your goal is to start a business, but fear is holding you back. Instead of fixating on the daunting idea of launching a company, focus on one small action you can take today. Maybe it's researching your industry, reaching out to a potential mentor, or creating a simple business plan. Each of these actions is a step forward. They may seem small, but they're significant because they disrupt fear's narrative and replace it with progress. Action also builds resilience. When you take steps toward your goals, you inevitably encounter challenges and setbacks. At first, fear might see these as confirmation that you shouldn't have tried in the first place. But over time, as you continue to push forward, you realize that setbacks are not the end, they're part of the process. Each challenge you overcome strengthens your belief in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. This resilience becomes a shield against fear, proving to yourself that you're capable of adapting and succeeding no matter the circumstances. It's important to remember that action doesn't have to be perfect. Fear often disguises itself as perfectionism, convincing you that if something isn't done flawlessly, it's not worth doing at all. This mindset keeps you stuck, waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. But perfection is an illusion. Progress is what matters. Taking imperfect action is infinitely more valuable than waiting and doing nothing at all. Another powerful aspect of action is its ability to shift your identity. When you take steps toward your goals, you begin to see yourself as someone who takes initiative, someone who is capable and determined. This shift in self-perception reinforces your confidence and creates a sense of alignment between who you are and who you want to become. Over time, you stop seeing fear as a barrier and start seeing it as a natural part of growth, something to move through, not something to avoid. Even small acts of courage can have a ripple effect, not just on your life, but on those around you. When you take action in the face of fear, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage becomes a beacon, showing others that it's possible to move forward even when fear is present. This not only strengthens your resolve, but creates a supportive environment where progress and positivity are celebrated. Ultimately, the only way to conquer fear is to move through it. You can't think your way out of fear, you have to act your way out of it. Each step you take chips away at fear's power and brings you closer to your goals. Fear thrives on inaction, but it has no defense against movement. So take that first step. It doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be forward. And once you do, you'll discover that fear wasn't as powerful as it seemed. It was just waiting for you to prove it wrong. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty, and it often amplifies the risks and challenges in our minds. However, what we often overlook is that fear is fueled by our focus. When we focus on fear, on what could go wrong, on the obstacles in our path, or on the potential for failure, we inadvertently give it more power. But the good news is that focus is a choice. And what you choose to focus on determines your experience. Instead of feeding your fear, you can shift your focus to the solutions and opportunities that lie ahead. Fear thrives in an environment of uncertainty, but uncertainty is also the space where possibilities are born. When you encounter a challenge, you have two choices: fixate on the problem or look for a solution. The more you dwell on the problem, the larger and more insurmountable it appears. Your energy is consumed by worry and doubt, and this prevents you from seeing a way forward. On the other hand, when you focus on finding a solution, you take the first step toward overcoming the challenge. Solutions empower you while fear paralyzes you. The key is to intentionally direct your focus toward what you can do rather than what you fear might happen. This shift in focus begins with asking the right questions. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" or "What if this doesn't work out?" ask yourself, "What steps can I take to solve this problem?" or "What resources do I have to move forward?" These questions redirect your mind from fear to action. They encourage you to think creatively and take control of the situation. Fear often thrives on the belief that you're powerless, but when you focus on solutions, you reclaim your power. For example, imagine you're preparing for an important presentation at work, but you're afraid of messing up. If you focus on the fear of failure, your mind will dwell on all the ways things could go wrong. This focus will increase your anxiety and may even lead to self-fulfilling mistakes. However, if you shift your focus to preparing thoroughly and visualizing a successful presentation, you're more likely to feel confident and perform well. The fear doesn't disappear completely, but it loses its grip because your focus is now on what you can control. Focusing on solutions also requires you to embrace a mindset of growth and adaptability. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable, but they're not roadblocks unless you allow them to be. Every challenge carries within it the seed of an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become stronger. When you face a difficult situation, instead of fearing it, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how can I grow through this experience? These questions shift your perspective from seeing challenges as threats to viewing them as stepping stones. Fear often convinces us that we need to have all the answers before we can take action, but this is rarely the case. Sometimes the best solutions come not from knowing everything, but from taking the first step and figuring things out as you go. When you focus on solutions, you give yourself permission to take imperfect action. This action builds momentum, and with each step, you gain clarity and confidence. The path forward becomes clearer. Not because fear has disappeared, but because you've chosen to move forward despite it. Another powerful way to shift your focus from fear to solutions is to practice gratitude. Fear thrives on a scarcity mindset. It makes you believe that you don't have enough resources, time, or talent to succeed. Gratitude, on the other hand, shifts your focus to what you do have. When you take a moment to appreciate your skills, your support system, and the progress you've already made, you begin to see possibilities where fear once showed you limitations. Gratitude reminds you that you have the tools to overcome challenges, even if the path isn't immediately clear. Surrounding yourself with solution-oriented people can also make a significant difference. Fear is contagious, but so is optimism and problem solving. When you're around people who focus on solutions, their mindset rubs off on you. They encourage you to see possibilities, offer fresh perspectives, and remind you of your own capabilities. Conversely, spending time with those who dwell on problems and feed fear can make it harder to shift your focus. Be intentional about the energy you allow into your life. Focusing on solutions doesn't mean ignoring your fear or pretending it doesn't exist. Fear is a natural emotion, and it often carries valuable information. It can alert you to risks and push you to prepare. But the key is not to let fear dictate your decisions. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and then redirect your focus to what you can do to move forward. Fear may be loud, but it doesn't have to be in charge. The process of focusing on solutions over fear is like training a muscle. It gets stronger the more you practice it. Start small. The next time you encounter a fear-inducing situation, pause and ask yourself, what can I do about this? Instead of letting your mind spiral into worst-case scenarios, channel your energy into action, no matter how small. With each solution-focused step you take, you build resilience, confidence, and momentum. Over time, fear becomes less of an obstacle and more of a signal, a reminder to shift your focus and keep moving forward. The people and influences we allow into our lives play a significant role in shaping our mindset, attitudes, and actions. Fear, like any emotion, can be amplified or diminished depending on the environment we immerse ourselves in. When we surround ourselves with negativity, doubt, or people who constantly highlight risks over possibilities, fear gains strength. On the other hand, surrounding ourselves with supportive, solution-oriented, and encouraging individuals creates a space where fear is minimized and courage and confidence can thrive. Fear loses its power when you take action, focus on solutions, and surround yourself with positivity. By shifting your mindset and environment, you can overcome fear and move boldly toward your goals.